Hey, all my Sagittarius friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, and empowerment coach. And I'm here today with your February 2023 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology, based on Sagittarius rising. If you don't know your rising sign, you can go to any one of the free birth calculators. You just need your exact time of birth and your location, and you'll be able to verify that you are indeed a Sagittarius rising. I would also check this video if I'm a Sagittarius sun or a Sagittarius moon or a Sagittarius stellium. Stelliums are where there are 3 or more personal planets in one sign or house, which indicates a intention from your soul for a certain experience and dynamic within this life. Also, these videos are all on Pacific time. So if I mention a time in a day, you may want to adjust for where you are in the world. Okay, Sagittarius, we start on February 4th, where we have the moon at 6 degrees Leo, which is your 9th house, trining. That's a favorable aspect to the planet Jupiter at 6 degrees Aries in your 5th house. This, for me, feels like an extremely dreamy energy, full of faith and hope and excitement for all sorts of good experiences to come. The 9th house is the house you naturally rule. It rules foreign people, foreign places, foreign experiences and cultures. It represents diversity. It represents university and higher education. It represents the Supreme Court and higher governments of legislation and agency there. It also represents the connection to the angelic realm, as well as a connection to that which cannot be seen. I say that because I believe that the 9th house is where, as a result of what we've experienced in the 8th house, we are transformed in the physical, which affects our quote unquote religious/spiritual beliefs. And more importantly, right now for Sagittarius, I think that the big thing with the moon being in your 9th house is the questions that Sagittarius represents in a philosophical way, which is, who am I? Why am I here? What's the point? And that, I think, is to express yourself, to enjoy yourself, to allow your creativity, your unique genius to be birthed into the physical plane. Leo represents the 5th house, and Aries is your 5th house. So Jupiter is offering you expansion in the areas of being creative. When we look at the 5th house, we're looking at romance. We're looking at conception of children. We're looking at high school age children. We're looking at hobbies, fun, entertainment. And we also call the 5th house the performer, the artist, the actor. That's what I meant to say. So here, I think you have a real opportunity to use this day to capitalize on this energy through your emotive body, through your intuitive body, and allow your personal creativity and expression to flow as effortlessly and without judgment or without criticism as you can. And I say that because we have Venus at 10 degrees Pisces, in your 4th house, squaring Mars at 11 degrees Gemini in your 7th house. And Venus partially rules many aspects of creativity. She rules the singing voice. She rules artists. And she is in Pisces, which is her best friend. And she's at the 10th degree. The 10th degree is the Capricorn degree. So we've got 2 layers to this 10 degree. One, it represents my thoughts and what thoughts I have to give myself permission to build my skills out into the physical world, building being the Capricorn dynamic of the 10th degree. Now, squaring Mars, Mars oftentimes represents the partner, the male partner in a marriage or partnership. Here we are talking about Gemini, your 7th house, and we're seeing Mars at the 11th degree again, here is my thought process. 11 is the master number of thought, but it's also rules the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius is where I allow my creative genius to be expressed. That's one element of it. Now we're seeing it in Gemini. So this is about being a bit brave about how you perceive your partnerships and how they will respond to your, maybe I want to put it this way, rather than saying partnerships, let me put it this way. With Venus being in Pisces in your fourth house, the fourth house is your childhood. It's how you were nurtured. It represents the maternal energy. It represents patriotism, your homeland, the oceans. And Gemini represents our siblings and our school-age children and the things that happen to us when we're in elementary and grammar school. So I feel like there is a combination of any energies that Sagittarius might have brought from an imprint of their childhood into their partnerships, adulthood, professional contracts, that's also ruled by the seventh house, and allowing yourself to really delineate whether you are going to continue to perpetrate an energy that doesn't allow for this expression that the moon and Jupiter are offering you, but rather has shut it down and deferred to something else. We have Uranus at 15 degrees Taurus in your sixth house, squaring the sun at 15 degrees Aquarius in your third house. So here again, we're seeing this opportunity for liberation with Uranus. Uranus has been going through Taurus for quite some time, but now it's direct and it's at the Gemini degree. So this is about this exact square also is Aquarius is the higher octave of Mercury. So I believe this is really about sort of coming into an awareness of imprinted thoughts and habitual patterns that were given to us as a child. If you think about it, if you're one of multiple siblings, you know, there are things that support on the internet. The first child acts this way, the second child acts that way, blah, 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 blah. So this is an opportunity to liberate yourself from those pigeonholes and now allow your Sagittarian nature to take you into new, more lofty, for lack of a better term, Venus and Pisces together, or Venus in Pisces, more lofty thoughts and ideas, and allowing those to sort of muse. And they may seem a little radical to you. It may seem a little far-fetched, but I also think it's not about judging it in this moment. It's about experiencing yourself kind of going in a couple of different directions and then honing it in to choose the direction you want, which might just be the moon trine Jupiter on this day, because this is teeing up the rest of the month. I think there's a lot of awareness of our imprint coming up and our unconscious thought that dictates our behaviors and actions. So on the 5th, we will have a full moon in Leo. I will do a separate video on that, so look out for that. On the 9th, Mercury will be having a very frank and real and raw conversation with Pluto in Capricorn. They are both at the exact conjunction of 28 degrees. The 28th degree reduces down to a 10. The 10 reduces down to a 1. And here we see our thought process again. And Capricorn is your second house of self-worth and family history, and the permissions you give yourself to believe that your skills are palatable enough, viable enough, vital enough, and attractive enough for you to make money at them. And this is where Venus in Pisces a few days before, you might have been having a frank conversation about what your family told you about money. Because all our family, my dad used to say, money doesn't grow on trees. And I thought, well, it's paper, isn't it? And then he would get mad at me. All right, let's go on. On the 11th, Mercury will move into Aquarius and begin this liberation of thought, begin this sort of stretching for the higher octave of my own personal genius. On the 15th, Venus is having another conversation, and this time it's with Neptune, and it's at the 24th degree. They will be in an exact conjunction in the 4th house of home. You know, sometimes we find the imprint of our childhood, once we've gotten over whatever speed bump it may have presented to us, we can turn that into something that brings brings us bounty. Years ago, I remember it was Amy Tan, a writer who wrote the most amazingly funny books, and they were based on her family experience. And so many people could relate to it. So here we see an opportunity for you to really come together and extract the creative genius that these two planets offer. Neptune rules dance, music, ballet, poetry, photography, filmography, all sorts of, I would even think that Neptune rules all these morphing filters that turn us into superheroes on TikTok. It's this sort of fanciful look. Now, these two planets are also making a square to the moon in Sagittarius. This is in your first house. So, and this is at the 25th degree. Now, this is sort of I want to call it an hourly influence on some level, because the moon moves very quickly. But as it takes the day to traverse your first house, it may ask you on a deep level if you're willing to nurture yourself. Are you willing to be a little bit different and to let yourself move into areas that are foreign to your current and past experiences, and sort of put aside how others will perceive your potential of success? Because oftentimes one of the questions that trips us up the most when we get a really fun, creative idea, and that's what Venus and Neptune are giving us today, is others will say, well, how are you going to do that? And then, so here, rather than trying to think of the how, being able to stay in the inspired idea allows the universe an opportunity to give you experiences that then open doors and make the next steps seem almost magical in their presenting themselves to you. Okay. Now, on the 18th, the sun will enter Pisces. It's a lot of activity in your fourth house. So there'll be a lot of reflection about your family experience this month. We have a new moon in Pisces the very next day. I'll be doing a separate video on that. And the last, it'll be 7 in total full moons have been at the 16th degree of Cancer, which rules the fourth house naturally. And then we've had a series of new moons in the early degrees, the 1 degree. And I think that these are all giving us even more integral threads as to what the themes are for where our personal spiritual evolution, revolution, liberation is coming from. So I'll be doing a separate video on that as well. On the 20th, Venus will enter Aries, your 5th house. This is where Venus gets super feisty and passionate, and I always picture like a redhead here for some, well, obviously fire sign, right? But I really love her energy in Aries. And this is where you're in your house of romance, your house of the conception of children, the house of high school age children, the house of entertainment, joy, hobbies, fun. So I hope you'll take time to really enjoy her energy while she's there, because she is on a mission and she's booking it towards Jupiter and towards Chiron. Now, by the 25th, Venus will be at the 7th degree, starting to make a conjunction with Jupiter, which will actually happen in March. But right now, we're seeing her creep up on Jupiter, who's at the 11th degree. Here's that master number of thought again, Jupiter being your ruling planet and offering you an opportunity to really look at how you are perceiving things, and if you're allowing yourself to live more in the renovated, evolved version of yourself, or if somehow you're defaulting to that 4th house energy that we talked about earlier, because Chiron represents the wound. And in Aries, it's a wound of self. And here's your 5th house. This could be about projecting yourself into your creative body and allowing yourself to believe that there's an audience there for you. So I believe this is where we start to see an opportunity to play to the higher side of Chiron, the higher frequency and vibration. The 13th degree is the Aryan degree of bravery, heroism, pioneering spirit, courage. Jupiter is going to give me expansion and wealth and bounty as I'm aware of my thoughts. And Venus at the 7th degree gives me not only the numerology-wise, boy, I can't get that out of my mouth. The 7 is about transformation and introspection, but it also represents the 7th house of Libra. balance and fairness. And in my experience on this planet for 63 years, I know that I've not experienced enough balance and fairness. So as a human, I default to what will be the most challenging. And here, I think Sagittarius is being offered an opportunity to see what the opportunities are, what the larger picture is, because that's what you represent, the big picture. So then the month ends on the 28th with Mercury at the Geminian degree, 27 degrees of Aquarius. That also reduces down to a 9. So it's a culmination of a cycle, making a conjunction to Saturn at the Anaretic degree, 29 degrees Aquarius in your 3rd house. The 29th degree represents not just the Anaretic degree, but the Leo degree, my heart and courage. Now we see Mercury, and I believe that Mercury is giving me an opportunity by the end of this month to truly use this energy of Saturn to start to build a new renovated version of me and my everyday activities. And it isn't because something has happened in the outside world. It's because I'm starting to be aware of the inner dialogue, the unconscious thoughts that I default to when I don't realize I'm thinking, because the brain never really turns off. You know, I think that when we fall to sleep, the brain is still working, but now it's working on that interior level that we are not aware of during the day. So Mercury at 27 degrees conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, your 3rd house, is going to have a conversation about rebuilding our thoughts. We're going to start to talk about our thoughts being things. And Saturn is saying to Mercury, you know, once you make this decision, there's no turning back. Saturn's saying, Mercury, you can't pretend that little bits of information are giving you a full story. And when you jump into your monkey mind of what if and how will I, and oh no, this always happens, Saturn isn't going to care. Saturn's going to say, stay the course, liberate yourself. Be genius, allow your brilliance. The 11th house also represents our hopes and our dreams, and that's Aquarius, and it's your 3rd house. So how will you want to birth your hopes and your dreams into the world? And when you have this awareness that it isn't because I'm actually pounding the pavement, but I'm sitting in meditation and musing about how much fun it will be, you will start to see these experiences coming into your on your life path. And then Saturn is your friend, Pluto is your friend, and all these planets that feel so malefic, that are actually holding your feet to the fire for your deepest truth, will start to really bring bounty into your life. You know, Saturn rewards over time and builds in the 3D world for the outside to see. Pluto creates billionaires. All right, Sagittarius, that's it for February 2023. My name is Teri Hunter. If you'd like to book a reading with me, my information is below in the description. And please join me Sunday mornings live, 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's where we get the angels' advice for traversing the transits of the week ahead. And I do readings for each one of the signs. All right, Sagittarius, thank you so much. Have a lovely month. And be sure to hit that like button and the subscription button and that little bell so you'll know when stuff comes out. Peace out. Oh, my fingers. Peace out.